Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. This stuff is just heartbreaking, folks. And it's getting to the point where it's no longer political, it's no longer just a discussion or a debate. It's getting to the point where it's good versus evil. You're either on the side of criminals and people who take advantage of others, people who steal other people's properties, people who intimidate and attack and rob, and the highest form, of course, homicide. You're either on that side, you're justifying it, you're giving excuses, or you're on the side of the victims and the people who deserve to be protected, the people who are contributing members to society, people who are just trying to live. Their communities are being ravaged by these criminals. These pseudo-intellectual academic liberals try to overcomplicate everything with their fancy lingo and their oppression diagrams. But at the end of the day, at least for me, it's very simple. You're either on the right side, the righteous side, the side of good, or the side of evil. It's that simple. And very often, and especially these days, Democrats are choosing the side of evil, the side of justifying bad behavior, the side of justifying criminals. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure you feel quite similarly. I'm sick of it. And this most recent video, this most recent example, following the police shooting of Tekle Sundberg, is one of the worst examples I've seen thus far. Democrats and especially left-wing activists are completely out of their minds. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean with this viral clip. And then let's just talk about the whole concept in general on the left. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, take a look at this. Furious mother confronts Black Lives Matter protesters angry over police shooting of a man who shot into her home. This is not a George Floyd situation. A Minneapolis woman confronted protesters on Saturday for gathering in her neighborhood to demonstrate after the fatal police shooting of Andrew Tekle Sundberg. But the woman had a very good reason for voicing her displeasure with their protest. Sundberg, according to the woman, tried to take her life in an incident that preceded his hours-long standoff with police. Police responded to a call involving a Minneapolis apartment complex last Wednesday after a resident, Arabella Foss Yarbrough, called 911 and reported that someone had fired gunshots into her residence. After law enforcement evacuated Foss Yarbrough and her children, 2 and 4 years old, and other residents, police urged Sundberg to surrender, negotiating with him for 6 hours. Then, early Thursday morning, police snipers fatally shot Sundberg. Police have not yet said why they used snipers to end the standoff. Sundberg's family and friends said he was experiencing a mental breakdown. What happened over the weekend? Protesters gathered outside the apartment building where Foss Yarbrough and Sundberg lived on Saturday, demanding answers for what they believe is yet another unjustified police killing, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported. And so that's basically the context, which of course is incredibly important before we watch the video. Essentially what happened was this 24-year-old woman, this mother of two, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, barricaded themselves in their apartment building, and the individual known as Tekle Sundberg, who was taken down by police officers, shot rounds through the door and was attempting to take the life of this young mother, a 24-year-old. Police officers, of course, eliminated the threat. And, of course, out of their mind, wacko lunatic leftists took to the street to protest, but this 24-year-old woman wasn't having any of it. Take a look at this little encounter.
Give my idols because you guys are celebrating his life.
It was a terror. I'm sure it was a terror.
This is not okay. Okay.
You're alive. Shut up.
You guys need to just let it go. Grief in silence. This is not okay. This is not a George Floyd situation. George Floyd was unarmed. He was unarmed.
You're alive. Sorry.
This is not okay. My kids have to deal with this and probably have a mental illness now because they almost lost their life. There's bullet holes in my kitchen because he sat in the hallway watching my move.
This family wishes this never happened.
I wish it never happened either. That I don't have a place to call home. I can't sleep that night.
She's obviously going through a moment.
This is not okay.
This is what they want to show on the TV. She's obviously going through a moment.
This is not okay. Just go home. Go home.
Did you guys catch that one specific moment? But you're alive though, one of the individuals says. These people are out of their mind. And this is what I mean by I'm sick of it. I'm done with this stuff. I am done with the concept of feeling bad for criminals. People who have no regard or care for other people's safety. People who are indiscriminately violent, threatening people's lives, putting people in deadly situations, and in many cases, they're frankly just assassins. And these Black Lives Matter groups groups try to paint this picture as if they're just victims and the police officers are such terrible demons. I mean, it's disgusting. The same thing with Jayland Walker. The way they're so incredibly dishonest and misrepresent the facts, the way they just totally justify the actions of these criminals is unbelievable. I mean, the end of the story here, the basic conclusion for anybody who has a working brain is thank God that this young woman, this 24-year-old mother, and her children are safe. Police officers did what they had to do. They were dealing with an extremely dangerous individual who was armed and was willing to use that weapon against a 24-year-old mother and her two extremely young children, and I'm supposed to feel sympathy, I'm supposed to feel bad, and answer to a call of protest against the police officers for taking him out? Please give me a break. You insult my intelligence. There is nothing virtuous and nothing compassionate behind this phenomenon of protesting for criminals. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You know what's compassionate? You know what's righteous? Taking the side of the actual victims. The only person who deserves compassion is this 24-year-old mother. And the idea that everybody deserves compassion, everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, is another bogus concept. The only people who actually deserve your compassion are people who earn it, and these violent criminals who put everybody else's life in danger on a near consistent basis have already relinquished their privilege to our compassion. When you take up a firearm, not to defend yourself, but to commit criminal acts, at that exact moment, at that exact point, you're done, at least in my view. And if you commit these acts of violence in the presence of police officers, or even worse, if you threaten police officers and put them in direct danger or anybody else in direct danger, then frankly, you forfeited your right to even continue existing. It's basically that simple, and it's summed up by play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And it's just so incredibly frustrating. Democrats and their endless naivete, at the end of the day, it's selfish. It's not even naivete. It's just about them. It's about virtue signaling. I'm just such a better person. I care about everybody. But they seem to care about the criminal at the expense of everybody else. And in every single Democrat city where these policies are applied, we see the exact same results. Criminals don't just stop preying on the public. They feel more emboldened and things get more dangerous. Here's actually a great example from Milwaukee. 10,000 car thefts in Milwaukee. Cops finally snag one of the, quote, Kia boys. There's this big phenomenon going on in the city of Milwaukee with the Kia boys. It's a bunch of young kids that are stealing cars, driving recklessly all over the place, doing absolutely crazy stuff. Stolen Kia crashes into couple's car in St. Paul. 7-year-old woman loses her life. Criminals feel emboldened and crime skyrockets. There's actually a YouTuber by the name of Tommy G who did a little piece on this, and he interviewed a couple of the infamous Kia boys who feel more unstoppable and emboldened than ever. Why? Because of Democrat policies.
So is there really no punishment for this?
Hell no. The high speed, that's when you get a felony.
How old do you think the average Kia boy is?
12, 11.
12, 11? You know what I was doing when I was 11? I was catching frogs and shit. Have you ever gotten into a police chase before?
They can't chase cause they can, but like after you doing so much dangerous shit, they gotta terminate it.
They know it's gonna be a slap on the wrist. They're gonna be right back on the street, and so they're gonna continue to do what they want, to steal cars, to drive recklessly, to crash them and then ditch them, to steal them and then sell them, whatever the racket is. So of course the criminals are totally emboldened to do whatever they want. They're the ones benefiting from this woke Democrat nonsense policy. Meanwhile, people are losing their lives in car crashes. People are losing their property. Oh, and by the way, we're seeing the same justification for all the violence and riots that we saw in 2020.
Can you picture me at my house crying when my car's not there anymore?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
Shit, you got insurance?
What if I don't, though?
Shit, should have had it. That shit illegal.
Oh, well, people have insurance, so who cares? And it's once again the exact same situation. Democrats enable and embolden and defend and justify criminal behavior at the expense of everybody else. It's frustrating. Frankly, it's starting to piss me off. It's wrong, and it connects to almost every single Democrat policy. Let's just say left-wing philosophy doesn't exactly revolve around personal responsibility or responsibility in general. It's never your fault. It's always somebody else's fault. There's always some sort of system, and the way to fix it is always some naive, garbage, left-wing, big government nonsense that always makes the situation a whole lot worse than it was in the first place. Welcome to Democrat governance, the rule book, and how to ruin everything. But that's the video. If you guys enjoyed it, then go ahead and leave a like. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.